Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So, I don't know if some of you recognize the lady that's I'm about to speak. For those of you who do not know her, this is Karen Straughan. Karen Straughan has been an anti-feminist male advocate for many, many, many years, well before I got on the scene and all of that. I think currently she's married and she just sort of, went to live a wife's life at this point. I don't blame her at all. There was really a point in time where she was really big on YouTube. YouTube throttled her, and she was the victim of a lot of what I'm saying, just like women didn't like her at all, like at all. But she's always been very articulate when it comes to what the issue with feminism is, and we're going to let her speak, and then we're gonna have our commentary.
First wave feminism sought to give women men's rights without men's responsibilities. Second wave feminism sought to reduce or eliminate women's responsibilities. And third wave feminism seeks to increase men's responsibilities. We find that men can't win for losing. They still bear the majority of the burdens they did 100 years ago. To one degree or another, they are still expected to pay on the first date and onward, still expected to pay most or all of the household bills, still expected to be at least as educated as their female partner, still expected to be the one to buy the ring and to buy the flowers and then to buy the chocolates on Valentine's Day, still expected to put themselves between a woman and any danger, still expected to take responsibility for themselves and others, especially women and children. The primary difference is they aren't allowed to expect any thanks, gratitude, respect, status, or reward for it. In one, girls and women are their equals, every bit as tough, capable, resilient, self-reliant, and powerful. And in the other, girls and women are so vulnerable and fragile that they need to be treated with special gentleness and consideration, extra protection and respect. And they are so incapable that they need boys and men to rescue them from anything that might endanger or upset them. Men owe it to us for how horrible men were in the past. I'm just here to ask, what the hell are we doing to our boys and to our men? First.
And it was very accurate, very articulated extremely well. Particularly, I think the most damaging one of those was the second wave feminism, which she's absolutely correct, which was meant to reduce women's responsibilities. It actually went further than that. I actually probably would like to have a conversation with Ms. Straughan, but it went further than that. It sought not only to reduce the responsibilities of women, and the role of women, but to erase womanhood. That's the problem, and that's the part that nobody likes to talk about. And when I speak on that, it's almost as if sometimes people don't really get what I'm saying. The erasure of womanhood completely, starting with gender roles, starting with female expectations in terms of what her responsibilities are in any role, romantically, societally, as a mother in the home, in any workplace she may be in, or whatever environment she might actually be. They stressed that it was some sort of liberation away from being a woman. Oh, well, to be a housewife and to be feminine and to take up those roles as, a feminine woman or as a supportive piece a helpmeet in your relationship and things of that nature, that has been and continues to be castigated as a low position. Okay? Being the support, not being the main individual in the relationship in terms of not being the leader in the relationship and things of that nature, being that second role is actually women have made that degrading for women, a degrading place for women to be. You'll hear more women than you will men ridicule that space for women. You'll hear more women than you'll hear men say that that place is like being a slave or it's an oppressive place. That being a woman in this world as a feminine woman is an oppressive thing. I want to take a moment uh, to share with you something else, because being a woman is just not, this isn't something that society nowadays promotes. And it's a psyop. It's a psychological operation and a brainwashing, because they're saying that by removing women's responsibilities in society, particularly in her household, was a liberation. It was empowerment for women, that women were they were better able to find value in the world than doing what was always considered women's customary roles. Those roles were diminished to such a degree as to become despicable in the minds of women. Okay, women, even today, you'll have lionesses fighting a sense of shame, not because they themselves feel shamed about being who they are, but society shames us for it. Many times, a lioness will not divulge that she is actually the helpmate in her marriage and things of that nature. Again, not because she's ashamed of her role. She's actually rather proud of her role and proud, happy to do so. But nobody wants to have to defend it before the boneyard, because a lot of females that we come in contact with, whether they're family, associates, whomever, we know that they are infected with a feminist mind. And so if we just even casually say anything that we do that is considered traditionally feminine and and a part of cultural traditions as it pertains to female roles, then we know we're going to have to either verbally defend it, we're going to have to get into an argument about it with people that ultimately don't matter. So therefore, it's like I might as well not even divulge that, even if we're happy and want to tell somebody about how pleased and how happy we are in our marriages. It's like we don't have nobody to even discuss the good of our marriages with, because again, that role has been made to be despicable and dishonorable. So you find yourself in unnecessary back and forths. You find yourself in these energy draining conversations where you're put on the defensive as a lioness about how you operate in your marriage. And it's like, why would I even put myself in a position to even have to talk to you about it? Because first off, you're a feminist, so you don't understand. I mean, you're a hyena, you don't understand it. And I'm not going to be made to like feel a type of way about what you think about what I do. And even if we're close as family members, it's like, do I really care what you think? because you don't have to participate in this marriage. I do. So ultimately, it's like we have to keep our mouth shut, really, even in our private circles, about what we do and what we're proud to do, and you know how fulfilled we are with actually being wives and mothers. And that's how far I'm pointing that out to illustrate. That's how far it has gone, that being a woman is being erased. Most women can't answer the question, what is a real woman? Most women nowadays can't even they can't answer the question, what is your value in a relationship? Okay, they can't answer that question because most people who don't see any value in what women bring, what lionesses bring to a relationship in a marriage, most people don't even count the intangible things, which is essentially what femininity is made up of in the first place. So when you have this question even rhetorically posed, you do have, I have witnessed situations where women that I know are lionesses were hesitant to answer that question because they knew that if they go into the intangible part and they dive into their femininity to explain the value that they bring to their marriages, is going to be looked at crazy, because it's not a, first, it's not a tangible thing for the most part. Most of the things, some of the things are, but it's not necessarily a tangible thing, or at least it's not rooted in a tangible space. And if we say, well, you know, I work and my money contributes to the household, da 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 da, it's like, well, that's not really primarily your role anyway. So it's like, that's not quite, you know, what women are really even supposed to bring necessarily to the relationship. So those things, you know, putting money into it, contributing 50-50, whatever the case may be, that is not considered a traditional, or even in the traditional adjacent like space that women really occupy in relationships. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. So women nowadays do not know how to answer that question. They don't understand. They can't say this is what women do, because for of a couple of reasons, and then I'm going to wrap it up. First of all, in this society, those things have been removed from women. What women's responsibilities are, things of that nature. So because that has been put in a category of degradation, women don't want to acknowledge or be a part of those traits and those things. The only thing left, because there can only be two energies provided in a relationship, is going to be either the feminine things or the masculine things. The feminine things, or rather the traditional, so-called traditional feminine things, have been reduced to these invaluable, insufferable things that don't define what a woman is. It has not been replaced by anything worthy, right? Because you'll hear more women denigrate being women than you'll hear men denigrate being being women, right? The men don't have a word, for a derogatory word for feminine women. Women do, particularly black women. Black women call feminine women pick-me's and pick-mishas, and they have other, you know, mammies, and they have other derogatory words that they apply to that. That alone proves what I'm talking about. Men did not create derogatory terms to describe feminine women or the roles of feminine women. Women did that. And they did that because in their minds, that role is trash. It's a trash role. that no woman of self-respect would ever assume. You understand what I mean? It's not a respectable, in a hyena's eyes, in a feminist's eyes, it's not respectable. Okay? And so since it's not respectable, they don't know where else to go. So this is why they start talking about achievements, external achievements, educations, jobs, money, income, things of that nature. Because like I said, there's only going to be two energies put on the table for a relationship, the feminine energies and the masculine energies. The women are the one that don't like the feminine energies, right? There's a minority of men that don't really understand femininity and don't like it. But for the vast majority of the boneyard and the feminist brainwashing that has taken place in this society for many generations now, probably about 4 generations now, okay? They don't want to take part in that because it is not respectable, quote unquote, the being a woman. But the other problem with these things is that they have not replaced or defined what is being a real woman. This is why women can't answer that question now, because feminism told them that not occupying the traditional female space was an empowerment move, and that you didn't need to be defined by those things without offering a viable definition and baseline for what a woman is, which is why they can now play with it with the tea parties and what is a woman, and we don't know what a woman is, and you know what I'm saying, a child birther, and they can have all of these other weird names and weird definitions and weird words to replace woman. And women have yet to see this in mass, that they were completely wiped out. You exist in the physical world, but you allow women, through advocating for feminism, women allowed for the erasure of what women are in society, and had they worked to reduce their position all the way to nothing. So now you don't even have a position to occupy. Now you're in limbo because you can't really occupy the male positions, and you don't like the female positions, that leaves you with nothing. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, the Crimson Cure. This was my perspective. Bye bye, Crimsonites.